feel like if I've learned anything through network marketing and life and social media, there is not just one way to do this. And so the platforms on social media, those are like personality based. And so if we say some things today that you're like, no, that ain't gonna work for me, then just put that down and pick up the little tidbits and the nuggets that are in here that you can go home and use on your Instagram that's going to appeal to your audience in a way that feels comfortable for you to share, and it's going to be received in a great way. So we just want to give you just some encouragement on some things that we've seen to work well, and the best thing to do is just to start posting, and then you're going to be able to analyze, okay, this is what's being received well, this is what's helping me to connect with people, and that's going to be how you're going to be successful on Instagram.
Yeah. Okay, so it's always great to start with why, right? So start with why. Have you heard that before? Why show up on Instagram,
Yeah.
Rebecca?
Well, the first thing would be that there are 1 billion users on Instagram, and over 500 million people are consuming Instagram stories every single day. Social Media Today put out an article a couple months ago, and they said 39% of people are more likely to interact with a brand on Instagram rather than Facebook. Genevieve shared this quote at our diamond meeting a couple days ago, and it was a little bit of a gut punch, but it was Genevieve that said it, not me. But I was reading this, and it just kind of reminded me of what we're doing. And Elizabeth James is my sponsor, and years ago, it was about 6 years ago, and I remember she would say that at night she would cook her kids dinner, she would put the kids to bed, and then she'd get a glass of wine and she'd tell her husband, okay, I'm about to make a post about Plexus on Facebook, and I'm going upstairs because I'm going to be doing messages all night long from all the people that would just start messaging her when she started sharing about Plexus. And it's been a minute since that's been the reaction for me on Facebook about sharing a Plexus post. And I think what I've kind of had to realize, especially 6 years in, is that I still recruit and am active on Facebook, but it's Instagram where I'm able to grow with people that I don't know. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I kind of moved over to Instagram. I don't know that I've ever, I'm sure I have sponsored or gotten a customer on Facebook from someone that I don't know, but that would be the minority. While the majority of people that I'm bringing into the business and introducing to Plexus on Instagram, I've never met them. And I don't have a real life connection with them. And so, again, the longer that I'm in the business, I can't keep fishing out of that same warm market bucket that's on Facebook. And so that's why I think Instagram is where you're going to want to hang out as you've been in it longer and you're wanting to expand.
Okay, so if you're feeling like, oh, my audience really knows me well on Facebook, I'm not getting a lot of traction there, and they want to maybe meet new people, Instagram is the right place for that.
I think so.
Yes.
I think so.
Okay, so what are some of the big differences between Instagram and Facebook, Rebecca?
Well, what I've seen is that obviously on Facebook, we know most of the people. Maybe you sat next to them in second grade, or you sit next to them on the pew on Sunday morning, but there's some type of real life relationship there. You're probably going to wave to them at Kroger, but if you're on Instagram, you don't know a lot of those people. I follow tons of people that I don't know, and you know what? I connect with those people. I've made friends and sent baby gifts to people on Instagram that are just my friends that I've met there and that I connect with. And again, I've never met them. On Instagram, you're not opting in to a relationship. On Facebook, you're having to send a friend request and they're having to accept it. While on Instagram, hopefully you have a public profile, and so they're just able to start following you, or you're starting to follow them, and you can see, is someone that I want to interact with. If you're still really actively sponsoring and recruiting on Facebook, don't let this rock your boat. Keep doing what you're doing. But if you're feeling maybe those feelings of, again, my bucket's looking kind of dry, that's where you can move over to Instagram and go, okay, I'm going to start a new market here. I'm going to start some new relationships. Another thing about Instagram would be that there's hashtags. I know we use hashtags kind of humorously on Facebook, but they're not going to give you that same kind of traction like you're going to get on Instagram. And so that's able to connect you and get more eyeballs on your post and different things, where on Facebook, again, you're kind of cycling through that warm market. And then the biggest difference for me, and the reason that I just have seen, I think, more traction on Instagram is the Instagram stories, and we're going to talk about those a little bit more. But the story interactions, if you're posting maybe on your Facebook stories and your Instagram stories, I know I see, I have about the same size following on Instagram and Facebook, but on Instagram, I see about 10% of my following, my audience, whatever, that are looking at my stories and consuming that content versus like 1% on Facebook. And I feel like it's all going down in the stories on Instagram, and so that's why I want to hang out there.
Okay, so your Instagram stories get you the most traction in your business. Yeah, the way I look at the difference between Facebook and Instagram is Facebook is like in real life people, and Instagram are if I'm wanting to broaden my horizons and grow. All right, well, what about posting the same content to Facebook? Can I just like copy paste and do one to the other?
Well, that is always like one of the very first questions that people ask, and so we wanted to talk about that because the first thing is you are the captain of the ship. You should try it and see how that works. And I've been on Instagram since I think 2010, and so I've tried lots of different things, and I think one thing that's kind of helped me personally to be successful is I am always willing to just put myself out there and try it. And if it doesn't work, then I'm like, oh well, and or I'll shift and pivot, and then I'll try something else. And so just start posting, and then kind of maybe if you can figure out some analytics and ways to kind of track what's working, what's not. But I'll share what I've learned about pushing the same content from one platform to the next, and that is if you're trying to grow one of those platforms more than the other, like maybe you're still serving Facebook, but you're wanting to grow your Instagram, I would post that content first on Instagram. And then maybe a few days later, you post it on Facebook too, so you can still serve that audience. But especially when you're first starting, there's going to be a lot of overlap in your audiences. And so I kind of found that if someone were to interact with my post or my picture or whatever on Facebook, that same person who still follows me on Instagram probably won't interact with it again on Instagram. And since I'm wanting to grow and get engagement and grow that account, I want them to see it first on Instagram. And then I might go over a few days later and maybe I change the picture out or the first couple sentences to a post so it looks kind of new on Facebook. But that way I'm still serving the audience, but I'm working to grow the Instagram. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay, so basically if I have a really awesome photo and post it where I'm trying to grow the audience first.
Yes.
And then if we can possibly wait, 12 to 24 to 36 hours, then push it on the secondary channel.
That's much better. But again, try it, analyze it, see what'll work for you.
I know that's what Jared always says to me. I'm like, oh, should I try this? He's like, yeah,
Let's try
see
it.
what it works, see if it works. I'm like, oh, you were supposed to tell me yes or no. Okay, so as we are attracting people, what does that really mean? Like, what does attraction marketing mean in social media?
I think that term can kind of scare people, attraction marketing. I think it just kind of pushes people away a little bit, but maybe if you can think about it as reverse marketing. Instead of putting just content out there that you're just hoping that it's gonna help someone, maybe step back, and if you're thinking about marketing, or if you take any kind of Instagram course, or you study anything about Instagram, one of the first things they're going to say is that you want to identify your ideal customer avatar. And so we even put up a sheet for y'all out there that's going to help you to kind of think through who is my target audience. And I know that we've heard this many times before, but it's so applicable to Instagram that if you're talking to everyone, you're kind of talking to no one. And I think when you're really, if you can reverse it and think, who am I looking for to join my team or to introduce to Plexus? What are their desires? What are their pain points? Then you can speak to those specifically. And I've kind of, when I started looking back, a great place to look at who are the last few ambassadors and customers that have joined your team or have ordered product from you, and why? Why did they want to buy that product? Call some of your most recent ambassadors and say, that maybe aren't your level ones even, and say, what made you say yes to this? What were you looking for? What are you hoping to achieve with Plexus? And that'll help you to kind of identify some of those main reasons that people are joining you. I wish that my audience was all interested in gut health, and they're really looking for ways to help leaky gut syndrome and stuff, but they're not. They are looking for weight loss and skincare. And so I need to sell them what they want, and then I can help and give them what they need later. But to get them in the door, I know I need to talk about weight loss and skincare for my audience. And so my friends, they all know my friend Julie. And Julie,
I know Julie.
You know Julie.
Yeah.
It's Julie.
Julie is Rebecca's avatar that she has created, and every time she posts on social media, she thinks, well, would Julie like this? And I know Julie, Julie's made up, but I know how much her household income is, I know why she would want Plexus product. I know her kids' names, this is a well thought out. And so what that means is, basically, if you are, the more narrowly you put, attraction marketing out there, you're going to be really speaking to your ideal customer or new ambassador. And you might think, oh no, I don't want to narrow it down, but actually you're going to be a lot more effective the more narrow you focus. So we should all have a Julie.
We should all have a Julie. And one thing that I found too is that when you're selling them what they want, so you can help them, you're going to give them what they need later. If you're going to sell it, sell it. You be bold that you know you have exactly what they're looking for. Just go ahead and slough off this might possibly, could potentially, might maybe be a fit for you. You say, I have got what you're looking for, and here's what it's going to do. Because so often, when people, especially the things that we have to offer, weight loss, skincare, digestive issues, all those different things, they have a lot of times some insecurities in that issue because they tried other things, or it's something that does make them feel insecure or not confident. And so you need to be the bold, brave one that's like, I got what you need, and here it is. And that's just helped me because, and also people are kind of irrational. Like they're thinking, oh, I'll be able to drink the same bowl for 3 days and lose 10 pounds and all the things. You need to be able to get them in the door with really bold language, and you can do that on your social media posts, because, and not that you're the expert, but you're connecting them to something that can absolutely help them.
So the cool thing about that is that people are a lot more likely to buy on Instagram, so we can speak more boldly. People are more comfortable purchasing on Instagram than they are on Facebook. And the other interesting thing that I love about the idea of creating your own avatar is that each of your ideal customer is going to look very different. So we're all different ages in this room. We all live in different areas. All of our friend groups look very different. And that's the beauty of the difference in who our ideal customer is. And that's one of my favorite things about Plexus is it's just our job to open doors, right? You love that thing. Okay. So the way I envisioned growing a Plexus business at the very beginning was a lot of door opening. And so I knew eventually everybody I knew was going to be on Plexus. I just knew it was my job to open that door to that person's network, and then open this door to that person's network. And the more doors we open, the more points we have, the more we get paid. And I mean, that's what our job is, to open doors for Plexus to sell more product to those new networks. And so these Julies and these Sarahs and these, Suzannes that we can create in our mind, going to make us a lot more effective in the information we share to people.
That's right.
Okay, so how do we add value on social media? This is one of my favorite things to think about as I'm posting.
Yes, so I think when you hear add value, you think, I have to be an expert, and I'm going to have to offer tips on everything, and I'm going to have to, again, just be able to teach things all the time. I'm going to add value. But maybe show of hands, how many people in this room got to jewel level before two years or less? If you hit jewel level within 2 years, a lot of us. And so what I've seen is that we're kind of forgetting that all those years before you entered Plexus, you were giving value to your community, to your friends on Facebook, to the people that were around you. And that may have looked like you were liking and commenting on their social media posts. Maybe you were active in your church group or something in your community. You were connecting with people, and those people considered that valuable. They thought you were someone that was adding value to their life. So when you all of a sudden were like, oh, look, I found this pink drink, they were like, oh, I know her, I like her, I trust her, I'll have what she's having. Because they liked all those things. So then, over the next 2 years or so that it took you to get to that level, all of a sudden, a lot of your value add was Plexus, 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 Plexus. And you're still in the same bucket fishing out of all these people, right? And that's been the main thing that you've been talking about. And so then, once you get 2, 3 years in here, and you've mainly at this point just been talking to all those people that you were adding value with for years before, there's a little bit of this like, and you're like, oh, I don't have anyone left to talk to about this. Because in your warm market and those people that have been receptive to Plexus thus far, you've kind of not been giving them value in other areas. And then you couple that with the fact that on social media, you're in your team pages, really interacting with Plexus people, and behind the scenes on Messenger, those are the main people that you're talking to. And then we've got this amazing One Plexus culture where you say, hey, if someone give me some love on my Plexus post, and then we all go on there together and we're like, yeah, I lost 15 pounds, and preach it, girl, this is the way. And then we're all just telling the Facebook algorithm, these are the people that I want to interact with. Show me all these people. And so we're like in this Plexus vortex thing, just talking to each other. You know, we're like, I don't even see anyone anymore because we've told the algorithm, these are my people. And so I want you to think about that you've got to be purposely, intentionally connecting with people. That's part of our job, is to go find those people to interact with, add value. And on Instagram, it's a whole new place where we also, especially as Jules, we've been here for so long, we've got teams that are liking and saying, oh, good job, and they want to do what we're doing. And so you post a Plexus post and you get, your 30 likes or whatever on that. And so that makes you feel good that, oh, okay, but they're probably all Plexus people, right? And then you go over to Instagram and you only get the 3 likes and you're like, oh, no one likes me here. But it's because you've been giving all this value on Facebook for so long. But what if those 3 people are those new doors? And they don't know Celeste. They don't know Brooke. They don't know Kristen. They don't know anyone. Maybe they're in Mexico. I'm serious.
Yeah.
And you get to be the one that opens that door, even though you only got 3 likes on the Instagram post. Just put that down and say, I'm ready to be brave, and just try it. It's worth it. Last year, I think I enrolled 85 people, and 40% of those were people that I'd never met on Instagram. That just, it was like someone else just gave me their social through Instagram Messenger, and you don't even know their name. And so it's just a great place to open door. And I just tell you that just to know, you look at it and you're like, oh, it's just pretty pictures, and I don't want to go over there and do it. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And they don't want perfection, they just want reality. And the people that I always sign up, it's because we're connected in a way, and the Instagram stories, because it's all this like behind the scenes, it's not the pretty pictures and all the things usually. It is kind of on the Plexus trips because there's a lot more pretty things, but usually it's not. And it helps them when that behind the scenes makes them feel like they are connected to you. It's familiar to them because it's just showing these little parts of your day. And so it seems like, what am I even doing here? But you're doing something. You're connecting.
Yeah, so when I think of adding value, it doesn't have to be, like Rebecca said, you're all of a sudden an expert. It can just be you're making someone laugh.
That's
or
right.
you made someone smile, or you shared something from the heart that impacted their life. And a lot of times, I know this is something I struggled with. I think some of my natural strength zones, I think, well, doesn't everybody know that? But really, they don't and we don't. And so when you share in that really cool new way you found to like make toast that you think is just really easy, actually we don't know that. And so even just the simple things that are really natural to you, that's probably what your audience needs to hear the most, because your strength zone isn't my strength zone. And so it's really so just step outside yourself, maybe ask your friends or your guests here, what are some of my strengths? And then you can go kind of in that direction and start sharing, even if it feels scary.
And I just want to say one more thing on that, but just that our goal is not to be Insta famous. The goal is not to get thousands and thousands of followers, because I do have a lot of followers, but most of them are coming on there and saying, "Oh, your earrings," and they're gone. Like, that doesn't really do anything, and that's nice, but that doesn't.
I do love your earrings.
Thank you. But that's not really the goal. And so what is to connect with people. And so I'm just going to tell you, when you're building a personal brand, if you want to be Insta famous and you go and every single post is about ketogenic recipes or how to how to do macros or something like that, yeah, that's going to get you a lot more people. The personal brand, when you're sharing about your life, you're sharing about your kids, those things, it's a lot harder to grow that